for the next 30-40 minutes, we will be having around 5 reactors. They have 5 minutes each for their reactions. I'll be presenting them one by one, and then they'll be giving their reaction. So our first reaction will be coming from the current Chief Strategic Communications Officer of the Philippines National Human Rights Institution of the Commission on Human Rights. Prior to being part of the Commission on Human Rights, he served as the Deputy Head for Technical Communications Group and Deputy Head Communications and Public Affairs Unit at the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process. He was also part of the various organizations such as a communication expert. He also has a Master of Development Communication. He is a Master of Development Communication student at the University of the Philippines, Diliman. I would like to present to you Mr. Marc Siapno. Hi, Marc.
Hi, Elder. Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Congressman Kit Belmonte and Senator Kiko Pangilinan for those presentations. And of course, I'd like also to thank FNF for giving the Commission on Human Rights an opportunity to be heard at a very important time. Let me start by saying that we condemn terrorism. And oddly, this kind of disclaimer, para ba siyang nakakatuwa na nakakatakot na halos lahat ng magbibigay ng opinion ay kailangan klaruhin na hindi sila terorista. We condemn terrorism because we believe that people have the right to a safe, enabling environment where they can live safely, where they can live their full lives based on their potentials. But as CHR, we have the duty to remind the government to prioritize human rights and warn them against possible human rights violations that may arise from pieces of legislation such as the anti-terrorism bill. But it doesn't mean, we'd like to clarify, it doesn't mean that just because you have questions or you have criticisms, that automatically makes you a terrorist. Most of the time, tinatanong tayo ng mga supporters ng bill, bakit ba kayo natatakot? Terorista ba kayo? And of course, to which we say, porket nagtanong, terorista na agad. And I think that question, that kind of thinking is dangerous simply because even before we can even pass a law, those who express opposition and critical position towards pieces of legislation are easily tagged as terrorists, even if having a critical opinion should be a guaranteed right under the Constitution. And that's one of the concerns of the Commission on Human Rights when it comes to the anti-terrorism bill. As pointed out earlier, it makes it easy for everyone to tag you as a terrorist for as simple as you don't support a piece of legislation being forwarded by the government. Of course, proponents of the bill would say, in Section 4, kasama naman yan, it excludes protest, dissent, stoppage of work, industrial or mass action, and other exercise of civil political rights. Excluded yan lahat sa definition natin ng terrorism. But what concerns us also is the construction of that certain provision, because it makes it seem as if itong mga karapatan mo ay exclusions rather than a general rule protected under the Constitution. And what's more concerning is that if you look down further the construction, hindi nga ikaw yung magdedetermine ng intent mo under the certain law. Ang magdedetermine yan ay law enforcement agencies. So it's as easy as saying, ikaw nagprotesta ka. We think that dangers public safety. So it's that's easy for you, how easy for you to be tagged as a terrorist under this context. And that will allow you to be detained for as long as 24 days. And worse, without even charge and even without penalty should proper authorities fail you to bring to a judicial authority. And which I think is more concerning, is that it shifts the burden from law enforcement agencies to prove your guilt rather than you being assumed to be innocent, which is supposed to be a constitutional guarantee as well. And so when you think about all these lapses in terms of providing safeguards, what good will it do even if you have provisions that says you need to report it to the nearest court or the Commission on Human Rights, when in fact there's no even a penal provision for you to look at should, say, for example, authorities fail to bring you to the proper court authorities after 24 days. But there's also that entire debate na no, that hindi naman yan yung ibig sabihin ng batas. But I think even that room for subjectivity, when we talk about that it is open for further poses dangers within the piece of legislation. Because sabi nga namin, kung iisipin nyo, noong pa lang nagsimula yung mga lockdowns, there were lack of guidelines when it comes to operationalization of checkpoints. And even at that point, checkpoint lang itong pinag-uusapan natin. The lack of clear guidelines has already given rise to a number of human rights violations and abuses. But in this case, you're talking about terrorism. You're talking about detaining a person for a maximum of 24 days without even penalty if it goes beyond. So that's really concerning for us, especially if when the Constitution tells you that you have the guarantee of due process, but you're being detained without any reason, hindi mo alam yung charge mo, and hindi ka pa pwedeng makalabas, and nasa iyo yung burden to prove you're innocent rather than the accused, then obviously it is a cause for concern for the Commission on Human Rights. But at the same time, it also seeks to revise the Human Security Act, yung question of ano ngayon mangyayari. So see, for example, nagkamali na ng law enforcement agency, hindi ka nga pala terorista. At the end of the day, nakapagpresenta ka ng ebidensya sa harap ng hukuman. It also is a cause of concern that anti-terrorism bill removes Section 50 of the Human Security Act that penalizes wrongful conviction or wrongful accusation placed upon suspected individuals and terrorists. So it makes it harder for us to determine accountability should there be a lapse on the part of law enforcement agencies. But lastly, let me say, just to conclude, that at the end of the day, regardless of administration, the same vigilance should be there. Regardless of administration, a good law should always pass and navigate through the careful nuances of the Constitution and the rights granted to us by the same Constitution. And at the end of the day, we must also be able to find a balance between combating terrorism and protecting and upholding human rights. Because if you think about it, we're passing an anti-terrorism law to protect human rights, not to derogate rights or to find reason for us to curtail further rights as well. At the end of the day, we say that we need a law against terrorism. We definitely need to thwart its ill effects, how it affects human rights of people at the end of the day. But we need a law that will unite us, not fear us for our rights. So we need to be constantly vigilant kasi sabi nga natin as a way forward, even if hindi siya pirmahan or hindi lang siya pansinin, pwede kasi siyang mag-lapse into law. And ito yung mga bagay na kailangan nating bantayan at patuloy natin tignan, especially in the context of anti-terrorism and the many human rights violations that we see around. Yun lang, marami pong salamat.
Thank you, Mark. Speaking of deleted sections from the HSA, the current bill also deletes Section 55, and that's for the role of the Commission on Human Rights, and Section 56, creation of a grievance committee, if I'm not mistaken. So these are other provisions in the HSA that are not present in the current versions of the bill. So thank you, Mark. Our next reactor is the program officer of the Initiative for Movement Building, Political Action, and Community Transformation. She is currently the Campaigns and Advocacy Director of the Liberal Youth. She is active in organizing sectors and communities for a more robust defense of freedoms and rights. Her advocacies include open government, active citizenry, and youth empowerment. Without further ado, I'd like to present Ms. Jobelle Domingo. Hi, Jobelle.
Hi, Elroy. Yeah. Narinig ba ako?
Yep, narinig kita.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, first of all, thank you to our speakers a while ago. Very helpful yung yung pag-discuss ng mga contentious provisions and of course yung pag-explain ni Senator Kiko nung broader picture o nung bigger picture no dito sa tendencies nga ng at ng government ano. So sa akin, I'm not gonna dwell on the constitutionality of it or the legalities of the law because a lot of experts have already dami na nilang sinabi about this and how this bill is actually contradictory to our constitution, no? So ang gusto ko i-focus ngayon is yung number one, yung important freedoms na naapektuhan o malilimit nung bill should it become a law, and yung culture na ina-espouse or ina-establish nung panukala ng bill ano. So first of all, for us ano, for our organization Impact Leadership, it's very sobrang important sa amin siya kasi it somehow limits yung freedom of expression mo kasi yung freedom of speech mo kasi if you say something na critical to say something very critical and then the ATC says na okay what you're doing is actually a terrorist act, so parang nagsalita ka lang pwede ka lang maging terorista, and that's very dangerous in a democracy, you know. And yung bill kasi yung culture na ina-espouse niya, yung culture of fear na ina-espouse niya, it will hinder also yung participation natin. Ano? Hindi lang yung kabataan, ano? Kahit saang sektor ka ng lipunan na nabibilang. Ano? It hinders yung participation mo kasi takot ka eh. Takot kang matag as terorista. Takot kang makulong without even saying na, without actual evidence na ikaw ay terorista. Diba? So yung culture of fear that it creates and it espouses, sobrang nakaka-hamper siya, nakaka-limit siya ng democracy. And as we know it, di ba, when democracy is limited, is hampered, di ba, ang laki yung epekto niya sa atin, sa individual lives natin. So, very important yung ganung aspect. And for us, we agree with Congressman Kit Belmonte, ano, na yes, it's very important to have a law that will actually na paparusahan yung mga terorista, but this bill as mentioned by him ano it's not actually para hulihin yung terorista, it's to widen the net. Sobrang ganda no sinabi ni Congressman Kit Belmonte doon eh, no? And we've seen this already in the past, di ba? For our organization, this bill is just another tool to consolidate power, to dominate over critics, over ano. So, and we've seen this happen before. We've seen this, di ba, nung sa Oplan Tokhang, yung EJK, yung human rights violation, yung what they did to ABS-CBN, what they did to the opposition, to the opposition, what they did to Senator Laila de Lima, and yung very recent nga is yung kay Maria Ressa and yung sa Rappler. No? So we've seen how yung, kumbaga parang there's no reason for us to say na hindi naman, baka naman hindi ito i-abuse ng government or ng administration kasi baka hindi naman sila ganun. Ano? Pero nakita na natin before na what they're doing is actually consolidating power and then trying to silence their critics and the opposition. So this bill is, for us, is just another tool for that because parang this is what authoritarians do di ba? So parang step one, create a culture of lies and fear para itago yung incompetence mo. Di ba? Step two, say that it's actually the opposition and the critics that are lying and are destroying government or dismantling, di ba? Sabi nga nila before, dismantling the government. And step three, no one wants to criticize or raise opinions anymore. No one wants to participate in national affairs anymore. Then all of a sudden, game over democracy is dead. So very crucial itong bill na ito, no? And I want yung lastly, yung gusto ko sana yung call to action. Hindi lang sa kabataan, hindi lang kabataan yung maapektuhan dito, but all individuals in the country maapektuhan ito. No? So very important yung we just really want to call on all individuals, all people, no, to think very critically kasi we want to limit these kinds of tendencies nga, no? And we want to continue to participate in national affairs. Don't be scared, don't be fearful, and remain vigilant and continue to resist these kinds of tendencies, because like we always say, ano, yes, leaders with authoritarian tendencies are very scary, terrifying na as it is, but what is more terrifying than that is actually a constituency that is willing to embrace a leader with such authoritarian tendencies. So we urge everyone, bata man o matanda man, farmer man, babae man, kahit anong sector ka ng lipunan, we urge to resist. We urge them to actually resist, continue to resist these kinds of tendencies, and continue to voice out their opinion, and do not be scared. And then moving forward, it's very important to rally our troops, to rally our troops, to talk to a lot of people, to say and to explain and to educate ourselves and educate other people as well, how these kinds of bill, these kinds of actions actually destroy our democracy. And when democracy is destroyed, it actually has an effect on us as individuals as well. So that's why kami sa Impact Leadership, we really are against this bill, and we are, of course, we appreciate those representatives who and those senators who voted no for this measure. Yun lang. Thank you very much, Elron.
Thank you, Jobelle. Thank you for the call to action. No? Ikabo nga, yung agam-agam, baka naman dito yung abuse. No? You've explained what has been happening so far. No? One of the events that has been happening lately, no? Yung nangyari sa ating mga Muslim brothers last week. So we're happy that we have with us this afternoon the president of the Metro Manila Muslim Traders Association, Mr. Nassif Malawani, to give his reaction on the presentations. Hi, Sir Nassif. Can you hear me po?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Gusto ko pong pasalamatan ng organizer ng pagkikipot ko na ito. Kasi po talagang it's a big opportunity to the Muslims. I'm speaking in behalf of the Bangsamoro Muslim. Not only in Barm, and also in outside the ARMM. Actually po, ang unay na kawawa dito yung mga Muslim. Dahil alam niyo naman na we are branding as Muslim as terrorist. Kaya talagang makita ka lang na nakasuot ka ng puti, o yung mga babae nakasuot ng itim, talagang sasabihan ka ng ikaw ay terrorist. So how much more po? Kaya pag ma-approve talaga yung anti-terror bill, may hirapan po yung mga kapatid natin Muslim. So gusto ko sanang introduce ang sarili ko kasi sir, ako po ay isang biktima rin ng martial law nung kapanahonan ni Ferdinand Israel Marcos. It was 1979, bata pa ako noon, 15 years old ako. Nasali ako sa nag-demonstrate sa Grandstand Bonita. Unfortunately, nasama ko doon sa na detain. So yun po, talagang mahirap mahulog. So since na sinabihan ako na gusto kong pasalamat ako, inimbitan niyo ako dito. Kasi gusto kong masabi rin yung kung anong nasa puso ko. Naranasan ko na akong makulong ng 40 days. That was November 29, 1979. Lumabas po kami January 10, 1980. Doon po kami nag-New Year. So, yun nga, nasabi mo na ako ng presidente ng Metro Manila Muslim Traders Association. Also, 23 malls po yun. Consist of 23 malls. So, ang ginagawa po namin mga negosyante, mayroon po kaming association, tinutulungan namin yung mga taong talagang na-affect. Nakita nyo naman, pag tunay na may kasalanan, hindi po namin tinutolerate yan. So, ngayon po, pag makita naman namin walang kasalanan, kasama namin sa grupo, which is a legitimate businessman, doon po kami pumapasok. Talagang pinapanawagan namin na TV, tinatawagan namin yung INSEAD chief, yung mga kilala naming mga polis na mabubuti, matitino, mga congressman natin. Doon po pumapasok yung tulong namin sa mga kapatid namin. So, ito po, worry yung mga Muslim dito eh. Kasi alam naman namin, pag na-approve po yung anti-terror bill, pinakakawawa dito yung mga Muslim. Binuin mo, this time po may nakikita tayong mga pulis na mga skalawat. Ginagawa nila talaga yung hindi dapat gawin sa mga kababayan namin. How much more po na hindi nila ma-abuse yung power nila. Yung iba po dyan na hindi maganda yung sa puso niya. How much more kung ma-approve yung anti-terror bill? Hindi po ba mas lalong maabuso ang authority nila? So yun ang pangamba namin. Ako po ay kahit anong kumbaga sa I'm decided, isa lang ang buhay natin eh. Very short ang buhay natin dito sa mundo. Pero kung sasabihin mo yung karapatan ng mga kababayan mo, wala po akong, hindi po akong magatubiling sabihin yun. So, yun lang, narinig natin yung mga warrantless arrest. Hindi ko masyadong kabisado yung batas. Pero yung nasabi nga ni Congressman Belmonte, yung mga warrantless arrest, pwedeng 14 days, extended to 10 days. Yun po ay sala ng akin lang. Doon pa lang. Naranasan ko na yung mahuli ka ng 40 days pa lang. Talagang, at the time, wala pang masyadong pag-isip. 15 years old pa lang ako. Talagang naisip ko. Kumbaga sa trauma po sa akin yun. So hanggang ngayon, talagang masunurin tayo sa batas. So dito lang yung nakikita natin. Kasi meron po tayong alam na mga Muslim na talagang walang kasalanan. Yung sa Tugigaraw po, Tugigaraw incident. Nangyari po yun na sila, na sinarcha ng mga pulis na bypass operation. Pero nagpatunay po na wala silang kasalanan, nakalabas sila agad through the efforts ng mga datos, mga organisasyon namin, mga asosasyon namin. Nag-ipon po kami, naglabi po kami sa mga matataas na mga opisyalis ng PNP. Doon po lumabas na talagang walang kasalanan. Recently po last year, sa may Laguna po, Santa Rosa, Laguna. Sa pagkakalam ko, hanggang ngayon, hindi pa po sila nakalabas. So, just last week, yung napanggit mo kanina, doon mismo, mga kasama namin yun sa Green Hills, ay talagang yung dalawang bata yun, sa pagkakalam ko po. Hindi ko po itataya yung name namin. Pagkatao ko, sila po ay talagang walang kasalanan. So, hindi natin alam kung anong totoo. Sana naman mapansin ito ng mahal nating presidente kasi ang pagkakalam ko, pagkadinig ko pa, alam natin lahat na nasa na niya, nasa po niya, sa perma lang niya ang hinahantay. So, meron naman tayong Supreme Court. Sana po yung provision, medyo ma-review nila yan kasi talagang kami mga Muslim talagang kawawa dito. So, sana po, hindi naman tayo anti-government. Talagang ako po ay nakikisa sa gobyerno doon sa mga programa nila ng mga sa anti-terrorist. Yung Islam po hindi tinetolerate yung masasamang gawain. Ang turo po sa amin ng Islam ay kung ano ang mabuti gawin mo sa kapwa. So yun lang po siguro. Marami pa kayong speaker. Ako po ay pinaparating ko sa mahal nating presidente na po i-revisa niya yung mga provision. We are against the terrorist po. Talagang yan ang advokasya natin. So maraming salamat. Sana po magtagumpay tayong lahat.
Thank you, Sir Nassif. Thank you for sharing your experiences po. Definitely, that's why we invited you, because we also want to hear about your experience. It's very important for us to listen to the people that will be affected and currently being affected by the policies of the government. So we also invited people from the culture and the arts today to present their reactions. The first is the president of the Philippine Educational Theater Association. During her term as president, she helped establish the PETA Theater Center. She is also a founding member of PETA, and she has become one of the company's most revered actresses. She is also the recipient of the 2018 Natatanging Gawad Lifetime Achievement Award for exemplary work in theater. Under her presidency, the PETA received the Ramon Magsaysay Award, Asia's premier prize and highest honor that celebrate greatness of spirit and transformative leadership in Asia. I would like to present Ms. Cecilia Garucho. Hi, ma'am.
Hello, magandang hapon. First of all, let me thank FNF and Wolfgang for organizing this important forum, which is the talk of citizens today. And secondly, I'd like to say thank you to Congressman Kit and Senator Kiko for being lawmakers with a conscience, lawmakers with a sense of ethics that can dare to say no to this bill, many parts of which are unconstitutional. It's a wonder why not more of our lawmakers spoke up, but we admire you for voting no, and we admire all the others who voted no. As an artist, it's in our DNA to exercise freedom of expression. Nasa DNA po namin yan. We use that freedom of expression, freedom of speech every time we produce a play. When we present a play, we speak. And most of the time, the plays that PETA does are plays that hold up a mirror to what is really happening in society. Now, because of this bill, because of what we do, will that qualify us to be called terrorists? That's our question. Saan ang limit ng freedom of expression? Let us say there is a part in a historical play where Andres Bonifacio calls for rebellion and against the Spaniards. Is that inciting to rebellion, or is that terrorism? It hampers freedom of expression of all artists. Let us say you were a songwriter. You write a protest song. Are you going to be put on the stand for inciting to rebellion? This is a very dangerous bill, especially for artists, because it curtails freedom of expression, even if it says that in Section 4 there are safeguards, but in Section 9 there are no safeguards. And besides, what good are safeguards to this government that acts with impunity? That's one. Secondly, we encourage critical thinking in our plays. We have discussions with our audiences and we tell them, raise your questions, ask the hard questions. We do that for our plays. We do that when we teach our workshops. We ask our participants, speak up, ask your questions. And so with this bill, even that might be put into peril. We believe that we have to train citizenry to ask critical questions and to think critically. Kasi we do not want a nation of sheep, a nation of people who will never speak out. Baw na lang ng baw, sunod na lang ng sunod, kahit na yung mga batas ay hindi tama. Gusto natin makapag-question sila, makapagtanong. Bakit ganon? Ano ba ang tama? Ano ba ang mali? Ano ba ang katotohanan at ano ang kasinungalingan? Critical thinking is of utmost importance to our work as PETA. Another thing, yes, in PETA, we have a children's rights program on positive discipline. Even as young as children, we want to encourage parents and even schools to raise children not based on fear nor violence. Habang bata sila, tinuturuan natin sila magtanong, to be part of the discussion, to train them to obey rules, kasi tama yung mga batas na pinapasunod sa kanila. Hindi dahil sa takot na takot sila o babambuhin sila kung hindi sila sumunod, but because they know in their hearts that to follow this rule, it's for the common good. It's for not hurting my fellow men. Yun ang ini-instill namin sa aming children's program pa lang. And here comes this bill that sows so much fear. It's the state in this case that's the terrorist, because as Jobelle Domingo says, it sows a culture of fear. And that's one of the reasons why we protest against this bill. It sows intimidation. It sows self-censorship. Kasi bago ka pa magsalita, binubusalan mo na ang sarili mo at sasabihin mo, baka mapagkamalan akong terorista, hindi na ako magsasalita. That's terrible. That's wrong. That's against our Constitution. And also, it quells opposition. Kasi I can just be opposed to this government, but will the ATC brand me as a terrorist for voicing out my opposition? Also, kawawa naman ang mga groups, like anytime the government can swoop down on artists, on journalists like they did Maria Ressa and ABS-CBN, and also on minority groups like Muslims. I feel very much for what Sir Nassif spoke, because Muslims are so easily branded as terrorists. Paano na sila? Anong protection nila under this law? It's that culture of fear sowing coming from this government. And to end it, I want to make a call to action. One, now is the time for woke citizenry. The motto should be vigilance. Congressman Kit and Senator Kiko, warningan nyo kami, mga taong bayan, kung meron pang ibang unconstitutional bills na pinaplano against the people of the Philippines. Tell us. We have to know. We have to be vigilant what Congress is doing, what Congress is planning. Sana naman, bills like the stimulus package bill, di ba? We welcome inyo ng tao. Hindi yung ganito na it sows so much fear and terror in the hearts of people. And it limits our constitutional rights under the Constitution. So let us be vigilant and a woke citizenry. Number two, let us form communities online by the millions. Communities of truth seekers. Communities that will not resort to hatred nor violence, but we do what is right. We're interested in what is ethical, what is correct, and communities that will hold the line. Ika nga ni Maria Ressa. How can we hold the line? We can hold the line by doing, number three, even small acts. I know of parents right now and grandparents, mga lolo and lola, na dinidiscuss nila sa mga apo nila ngayon kung ano ba talaga itong anti-terror bill at bakit ito mali. Pinapaintindi nila sa mga bata, sa mga 10-year-olds. Sabi nga ng isang 10-year-old, alam ko na kung bakit nagalit si President Duterte kay Maria Ressa. Kasi she dares to ask the hard questions which he does not care to hear. So, okay yon. That engenders critical thinking even in this 10-year-old boy. So, we can do small acts, discussing social issues in our families with our children. And if you're a public school teacher or any teacher watching us right now, encourage critical thinking among your students. Magtanong lang, bakit? Anong tama? Anong mali? Anong katotohanan? Anong kasinungalingan? That's an important function of every teacher who's listening to us right now. Also, do small acts of kindness. There's so much unkindness now. Threats of rape, threats na papatay ng tao online. Why don't we do the opposite? Let's not behave the way the trolls and other people behave. Let us precisely go on the mode of kindness and respect for each other. And lastly, what I want to say is, let us be true to ourselves. As for me and for other artists in our company, who are we? We are truth tellers. We are storytellers. And the stories we tell are based on the truth that's happening around us. We have been doing that since the dark days of martial law. 53 years ago since we were founded, ginagawa na namin yon. Truth-telling, storytelling of what is truly happening. Ngayon pa ba kami babaliktad at will we now go against the essence of who we are? Of course not. We will stand our ground. We will continue to be storytellers and truth tellers. And that is what we're asking every citizen to do right now in every area or field of endeavor that you're involved in. Yun lang po. Marami pong salamat.
Thank you, Ms. Cecilia. Thank you for inspiring us to be truth tellers. Our last reactor for today, she is a Filipino theater and film actress, as well as a singer-songwriter. She is also the songwriter and vocalist of the Cebuano trip-hop band Home. Her acting work for the short film Operation Plutas 2015 garnered her the Best Supporting Actress Award in the 2015 Sinulog Film Festival. She has garnered recognition in her roles in film like Miss Bulalakaw and Patay na si Jesus. I'd like to present Miss Chai Fonacier. Hi, Chai.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. First, thank you to Representative Belmonte and Senator Pangilinan, as well as FNF for this webinar. To our lawmakers who are here, salamat for fighting for our rights. Chai Fonacier po, artista ng bayan from Dakila. And we call for the junking of the terror bill. It's clear by now, klaro na with all of the information and insights that have been presented here so far, kung bakit ang bill na ito ay huge cause for concern. This afternoon, I want to speak from the standpoint then of I'm an artist. When I think about governance and our freedom of speech, I think about a really simple concept, the suggestion box. It's a really simple concept to grasp. Anyone working with the public, whether you're a private entity or you're working in government, knows now there are things that you might not understand, things that are happening on ground that you might not understand or know unless you hear it from the people. On a grander scale, siguro these take the form of public forums, public consultations, surveys, Citizens Watch, expressions of opinion on social media, the news. Now, through the suggestion box, we as the people is a disconnect from the public that you serve. You end up running your endeavors according to how you see fit, but here, you presuppose that you are faultless. At alam naman natin na walang tao sa mundo ay faultless. I'm no religious person, but this brings to mind yung Bible passage that says, lean not on your own understanding, which whether you're religious or not, it's definitely not a mere baseless assumption. The terror bill the incident made a Facebook post in a frustrated tone. She did not accuse anyone of anything and was merely frustrated and angry over the fact that the grocery shelves were empty and that there was barely anything to eat. What she got as a response was a visit from the police, a phone call from the mayor of Cordova, Cebu herself, over 30 replies on her Facebook post from the mayor, mostly in all caps. This was reported in the media. All she was asking infested without a warrant at midnight on a weekend and illegally did to a chair for what? A satirical post for satire. In essence, it poked fun at incompetence and expressed alarm at the rising number of COVID cases based on news reports. Recently in UP Cebu, students were chased by authorities into the school in the middle of a rally against the terror bill. Since like Rappler and ABS-CBN, when the police were beginning to meddle with the content of the teleserye Ang Probinsyano, and I thought abusing their power and their position. This was all prior to the terror bill. I shudder to think how much worse it may be when it becomes law, when its contentious provisions are weaponized against the citizens as if things weren't bad enough. And we all know what a bad track record this administration has when it comes to acting with impunity and test. I feel like it brings to mind shows like 6 o'clock or Abangan ng Susunod na Kabanata that had they aired this year, with so many people, even before this bill is passed. I work with humor, so I understand what a powerful thing it is. On a normal day, it simply is entertaining. On other days, jokes make you laugh, and yet it makes you stop and say, something's not right anymore. Among other things, humor brings to light the follies of humans. As an artist, I feel that when a government cracks down on us, it is cracking down on the public on the whole. It says that no one is allowed to speak unless it's all just good stuff. No one is allowed to call for accountability even through a joke. It says no one is allowed to tell them where they are wrong. When a government cracks down on storytellers, it says no one is allowed to remind them that they are human, that the only things allowed are stories where they are gods. Which is ironic for a mostly religious country, isn't it? We storytellers are a huge part of this country's suggestion box. We spark questions and conversation not for the heck of it, but because we artists imagine a world where no one is hungry, rights are upheld, and people live hayahay, haruhay. We tell stories of pain and suffering. We make fun of the wrongs because we want to tell you what could be and what should be. Stories are powerful. Stories make real and humanize the experience of people who might otherwise be just mere numbers that we see on charts and pieces of paper. When a government cracks down on storytellers, on entertainment, on media, we will be subject to a few who think that they are the sole basis of all absolute power. Suggestion box, as simple as it sounds, but it's very important. We cannot be disallowed to participate in the governance of our country. We must be part of it. I call on this government to not fear it. It's just a suggestion box, essentially. It does not make sense to respond with intimidation and guns against mere stories. We're only here with words and cardboards raised in rallies and artworks and songs and truth. Why must words and draconian measures, an iron fist? Government to violate the very rights it is mandated to uphold. Art, it won't change the world overnight. But the way things are going, it looks like we're needed, fellows. So to our fellow artists, hold those stories up and shine a light on truth. Now is the time to speak truth to power. Sign the petitions, tell your stories from the ground. Speak for those who can't. Let the people in power know we're all here and that we are watching. We have a global health crisis to contend with. We don't need another threat to our rights and our very lives on top of that. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Feedback and their regarding the ATB. We have a few questions that were posted here in Zoom and in Facebook. We're checking, we're collating most of them. And for our reactors and to our presenters, Concrete and Senator Kiko, feel free to answer them as you deem fit. We've heard a lot from the community, also to our social civic partners such as Impact Leadership and a government agency, CHR. So we have a few questions here. I think we can group them together and sort of get a certain sense of uh, more on the fate of the bill. What will happen? I'll combine the questions from Franz Joshua Merida, Lucio Erwin, Nini Banayat, and Lawrence Garcia. The president does not sign this law, it will just lapse into law after 30 days. If ever it is signed into law by the president, are there any plans to file a case at the Supreme Court to challenge its? You answered this and earlier a bit. And then, since based on the statement of presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, PRRD is inclined to sign the ATP, do you think we have an advantage to win over the possible appeal?
I answered a number of them already. A few days ago, Concrete, myself, Senator Risa Antiveros sat down with a number of lawyers precisely to discuss strategy and and we should file that when the enrolled bill becomes law at that point. So we're also looking at and we're touching base and sharing notes with others. I understand. I think UP Law will be filing a case to UP Law professors. I understand. I think Bayan and Attorney Colmenares will also be filing a petition. So marami, no? So yun ang isang approach natin. But I think it should not be a petition or an action that is limited to petitioners, no? I think this should be complemented with parallel efforts to better understand the bill and its implications, and how do we, as pointed out by Chai and by Cecil, well, what do we do? How do we now raise the matter of being vigilant and engaging more in terms of popular participation, and getting popular support for this effort. The other thing is, and I said this in another forum, make sure that you prepare for the elections, particularly the young people. What I notice about the young people today, and my daughter included, is that, they're very vocal, they're very articulate, and they're very brave. Ang problema, what we found out noong 2019, ages 18 to 24, hindi rehistrado. Why am I saying this? Our candidates in the last election, the Ocho Derecho candidates, we won in all the campuses. When there were mock elections in all these schools, panalo lahat. Top 12 lagi yung Ocho Derecho. Pero pagdating sa halalan, it turns out, and we did the math, 10 million. Estimated 10 million 18 to 24-year-old voters were not registered. Si Bam Aquino lost only by 400,000 votes, less than less than 400,000 votes. Can you imagine if 10 million were registered? That would actually dictate and redirect the course of the nation. So if you want to have better lawmakers who are committed to change, the woke generation, this 10 million should, the youth and students should begin now and make sure that in their ranks you register and prepare, to choose wisely in the coming elections. The elections will be filing for the elections, the campaign will be in 15 months. That's October 2021. So it's not that near. It's not that far away. Sabi nga nung iba, kung may election pa. And that's why we have to remain vigilant. So this should be a platform, a springboard. The filing of this petition should be a springboard for vigilance and grassroots organizing to oppose the measure, to come up with fora, discussion groups. Tama, I agree with Cecile that we have to have thousands of communities online. Create a online communities that will reach out, use technology to reach out to more. That's another silver lining there, diba? For the first time, and digital communications will give you speed, will give you scale, and will give you scope that a physical rally will not, diba? So that is another tool that we should be able to use, digital media, to be able to scale up this effort of opposing this measure. Baka maganda nga yung strategy na in the next 2 months or so, di ba? We have all these online communities discussing the measure and they saying, oh, what do we do next? How do we move forward? Maybe Kit, you can also add.
Thank you, sir. Okay, baka may gusto po kayo dagdag, sir?
Very well said. So, pagtulungan na lang natin lahat yan. I think a lot of us are organized dito, pero there are a lot of people out there who aren't organized. Pero dahil sa tinamaan sila, na-realize nila yung importance na pag-defend ng fundamental rights natin. I think this is a good opportunity to reach out and bring everybody together. So,
yeah. That's right. If I may just add to that point raised by Kit, na tinamaan sila. Becoming politicized has to start from the personal. And we've seen this, since I was a student activist. Unless it's personal, diba, you're talking beyond or above the heads of the common folk, of the man on the street. Sabi ko nga when you say EJ case, when you say human rights, when you say anti-terror bill per se, diba, parang lutang. Pero dahil dito sa COVID, no? Sorry, I'm doing some analysis here. COVID is very personal. It's life and death, diba? Or huge bills in the hospital that you can't afford. Napaka-personal nun. The other thing very personal is jobs have been lost. Millions of jobs have been lost. Why am I beginning there? Because when it's now personal, people get affected and they start wondering what the hell is going on? What do we do? They're afraid. And then you have a government, and I think Chai pointed this out. What is the response to the joblessness? What is the response to the life and death situation? Pinasara ABS. Pinapasa yung anti-terror bill. Tapos palpak. Unfair to China. Wag magkaroon ng total travel ban. Buksan ng pogo. Unahin yung mga Chinese nationals. Sila may trabaho. Yung mamamayang Pilipino walang trabaho. So yung taong bayan na simple lang mag-isip at hindi politicized, ibig sabihin, in fact, ayaw magpag-usapan ng politika. Ngayon dahil tinatamaan na siya, as Kit has said, marami na nga siya yung personal Teka muna, maraming nagsasabi, ginugutom kami, wala na kaming trabaho, wala na kaming mamamatay na kami. Pero yung gobyerno, ang kupad kumilos, may kurakot pa. Tapos yung gobyerno, anong tugon? Sinara yung ABS. Ito ba, tama ba ito? Ganun ngayon, marami ang nagtatanong. Di ba? Dati wala silang pakialam, pero ngayon dahil tinatamaan na ng personal, nagtatanong. That's why these digital communications, online sessions of discussions are important because it will deepen the awareness of the man on the street about what is happening in the country. They are looking for answers. Just last week, my own nephews who never speak out about the problems of the country are asking me questions, saying, what's going on? Why is ABS-CBN being shut down? Why are they opening up all these pogos? Why? Why is this the response of government? So the disconnect is making people start to think, hindi ito tama. Now we have to come in, the more politicized sectors must come in and explain and articulate and provide platforms for this clarification so that the awareness is deepened, and therefore the next step will be, the first step to involvement is information, and we have to provide that. And the challenges are huge, because as you can see, there is so much disinformation, there is so much lying, there is so much misleading and deceptive material being put out there. But in the end, sabi nga nila, tinatamaan na yung tao. Nasasaktan na sila. Tapos bubuhusan mo pa ng fake news. Lalong magagalit yan. Lalong maaasar yan. So, nandyan na. Opportunity ito. Sorry.
Thank you, Sen. I think kasabay po ito nung comment sa Zoom po, Like sabi niya, Anonymous, sabi niya, pangatlong webinar ko na po ito on ATV. Pero mukhang pare-pareho naman po ang current opposition. Naka-English pa madalas. Paano kaya natin ma-engage ang masses at ang current apathetics or supporters? I think, sir, na-address po ito, and hope we really have to work a lot on the addressing the fake news aspect, and also that's why we have here Impact Leadership, FNF, and also CLD is also working hard on creating avenues for discussion and engaging people beyond itong circle na kasama po natin ngayon. Thank you,
Alam
sir.
mo, just to react to that, sabi, English pa. I mean, that's, telling yan. Kasi nga, ang feeling ng tao ngayon, pinabayaan na tayo ng gobyerno. Pero yung mga nagsasalita kontra sa gobyerno, English naman, hindi rin namin maintindihan. Iniwanan na kami ng gobyerno, tapos yung mga nagsasalita ng English, di naman kami maintindihan. Saan na kami pupunta? Di ba? So, very telling yun. And I agree. Dapat yung conversations natin, hindi lang sa tayo-tayo, sa ating chamber, di ba? Sa ating echo chamber. We have to bring it out.
Thank you, sir. Salamat po. Other questions po, parang stepping back a bit, parang just looking at the bill more closely. There are some questions on the safeguards on the bill, and also addressing what Congresswoman Lucy Torres said on kung hindi ka naman terorista, hindi ka aktivista, hindi naman para sa iyo itong bill na to, hindi ka man apektado kung hindi ka talaga terorista. And there are also questions on, is there really protection against abusers of this bill? Can you please cite on the bill that proves his statement if there really is? Sabi po ni Senator Lacson daw kasi may protections daw on the abusers. Question po ito ni Mr. Marijo Viray. And then question by Joshua Merida. What are the safeguards of this law so that hindi maabuso, considering napaka-vague ng definition ng terrorism acts? Same din po ito question ni Kevin Yu. alin ba ang provisions ng ATB ang dapat ayusin? Ano ang suggestion nyo para maayos? Kung Kit Senator Kiko may both answer po.
Kit,
Oh,
go ahead, Kit. Ikaw naman.
Okay. Alam mo, we have to take the bill as a whole. Okay. Ang intention niya is to protect the state and the people from the terrorists. And dapat dyan, wala tayong objection. Dapat lang talaga saluduhan natin yung mga nakatayo dyan sa pader para proteksyonan yung mga freedoms and democracies natin. Ang problema ng bill na to, mukhang shinortcut nila eh. Alam nyo, may telling na story doon sa Vietnam War. Sabi ng mga sundalong Amerikano, ay sorry po, we had to burn the village down in order to protect it. Yun ang problema ng bill na to. Taken as a whole, on the premise na gusto lang nilang tirahin ng mga terrorists, para matira nila yung mga terrorists, tinatanggal nila yung certain constitutional, iniiwasan nila yung constitutional safeguards to protect our freedoms and our democracies. Kahit sinasabi nila sa isang section na nandun yun, mas primary pa rin yung paninigurado sa state na kaya niyang maikutan yung mga protection na yun para mahuli nila supposedly yung mga terrorists. Ganito yun eh. Ang social contract natin, lahat tayo as individuals, as free citizens, give up tayo ng certain parts of our freedoms sa state. Binibigay natin sa state yung power to bear arms, na binibigay natin sa kanila yung police powers, binibigay natin sa kanila yung pag-regulate. Diba? Ang purpose ng Constitution at ang purpose ng laws natin ay dahil binigay natin yung sobrang laking power sa gobyerno. Ang purpose ng mga laws natin ay para i-limit yung mga laws na yon kasi nasa gobyerno yung mga power para i-regulate, para pwedeng maipit yung mga karapatan natin. Karapatan natin may sariling bahay, magsalita, maghanap buhay. Yun yung pag na binuksan mo yan, in the guise na pinoproteksyonan mo yung freedoms natin, baliwala eh. Instead of na proteksyonan mo, dinala mo sa mas masamang situation tayong lahat. So, pag tinignan natin yung bill na to, sabi nila may protection. Pero the way it was crafted, protection lang limited dito sa section na to, tas linagyan nila ng sangkaterbang ibang section na iikutan din yung mga protection na yan. Section 4 defines terrorism. Pero, under Section 4, sabi niya, but this doesn't include yung rights to assemble, freedom of speech, etc. And yet, it doesn't cover Section 9, Section 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, na lahat yan pwede. Pwede kang kunin, pwede kang illegally detain against the Constitution na nagsasabing 3 days ka lang pwedeng ma-detain. Dito, pwede kang 14 days. 24 days pa nga. Kasi pwede pa nilang i-extend. Yun. It's ang gusto natin sana talaga, binigyan pa natin ng oras, at may oras pa tayo para makraft talaga natin yung isang anti-terror bill na talagang nakatutok sa mga combatants. Mga talagang ang intention nila ay wasakin yung Estado. Hindi yung gusto lang nilang sabihin na may problema na may dapat ayusin, may dapat i-correct. Yun yung problema ng batas na to. Overbroad. Okay? Overbroad. And pag nagpunta tayo sa Supreme Court, ang pwedeng sabihin ng Supreme Court, ano yung actual test case ninyo? Hindi. Ngayon pa lang, pwede na nating dalhin yan pag naging batas yan, pwede na natin yan dalhin sa Supreme Court. Kasi overbroad siya at saka diretso niyang iniikutan ang certain protections for the citizens sa Constitution natin. Yun. Boss, baka may gusto ka pang idagdag.
Sir, thank you, sir. Recognize ko lang po yung presence ni Kong Mujib. Andito na po si Kong Mujib.
Yeah. I'm Mujib.
Ay,
Pwede yung sumabat lang konti.
Sige, go ahead. Mauna ka na, Mujib. Go.
Hindi, sige na. Sen Kiko. Ikaw na muna.
Ay,
Sige
sir,
na, mauna ka na.
introduce ko lang po kayo, Kong Mujib.
Wag na. Kaya mo na, pare. Sayang oras. Oh.
Hindi na, si Mujib na. Mujib, mauna ka na kasi kanina pa kami.
kanina ka pa namin inaantay.
Naka-boundary na, ikaw hindi pa. Mauna ka na.
Sen Kiko, ang hirap pumasok. Umuulan dito sa amin. Anyway, gusto ko lang sagutin yung isang tanong. Kung hindi ka naman daw terorista, bakit ka matatakot? Actually, argument yan na parang walang saysay na argumento. Parang sabihin mo lang pag pumabor ka at ayaw mo, ikaw ay terorista. Ganon lang kasimple ang lamp up nun. Pero gusto kong sabihin doon sa mga nagla-label na kung ayaw mo dito sa panukalang batas, hindi dapat i-differentiate natin at klaruhin. Hindi ibig sabihin pag ayaw namin sa panukala na ito, ayaw naming matuldukan at magkaroon ng isang pulisiya na matuldukan ng terorismo. Magkaiba ho yun. Gusto rin namin, katulad nyo, na matuldukan ang terorismo. Pero dapat maklaro natin ano bang pulisiya, ito na ba? Ako nga ang lagi kong sinasabi, baka itong panukalang batas na ito lalo lang magpapalakas sa mga terorista dahil sinisiil natin ang karapatan ng ilan. Ako, pwede akong magbigay ng mga halimbawa. Andyan si Engineer Nassif, nakita ko at tinabutan ko as part ng reactor natin. Nung isang araw lang tumawag yan sa akin. Ito wala pa yung anti-terror law natin. Nagkaroon ho ng pag-arrest. Warrantless arrest. Ni-raid yung isang bahay ng negosyante at ang allegation, andyan si Engineer Nassif mismo, bigla na lang may drugs sa loob ng bahay, pero ang hinahanap doon based sa mga video, bolt. Isipin nyo, tapos ang mga nagre-raid, naka-short pant, tapos tinatanungan ng mga tao kung may ID sila, hindi naman nagpapakita. So natakot na ang mga tao dahil hindi nila akalain na pulis, dahil walang uniforme. Ang ginawa ng mga tao, pinagtulungan at hinold sa loob ng bahay ang mga pulis. But anyway, lang to, isang classic example. Pero hindi ho ito. Ang gusto kong ipaintindi doon sa mga ilang mga kapwa nating mambabatat. Hindi ho ang solusyon ay pagsiil sa karapatan ng ilan. Kung hindi ang maaring magkaroon tayo dapat ng pulisiya na sa ma-strengthen yung law enforcement natin. Pero on the other hand, dapat magkaroon din tayo ng mga programa na makakatulong at maka-encourage sa mga terorista na manumbalik sa ating lipunan. Hindi ho makakatulong parang sa atin yung kapwa nating Pilipino, sinisiil natin ang kanilang karapatan. Dahil sa totoo lang, ang dami na naming karanasan na ganyan. Una, gusto ko lang sabihin sa ilang mga nakikinig. Kung dito sa aming probinsya ipinundar ang Abu Sayyaf, dito ho nagsimula ang terorismo. Pero sa totoo lang, noong 2001, nag-declare na ang pamahalaan, panahon ni GMA, ng state of lawlessness. Talagang lahat ng suspect hinuli. Pero hindi ho pinahina nung policy na yon ang mga Abu Sayyaf lalong lumakas. Pero ngayon, sa loob ng 3 taon, dahil sa initiative ng local government at mga lokal na militar at kapulisan, kasama yung mga civil society organization, na naakit sa pamamagitan ng programa at mga development initiatives ang mga terorista. So ano ang punto ko? Baka iniisip nyo, ito ang solusyon. Meron ho kaming mga counter-proposal. Halimbawa, tinanong namin doon sa Kongreso, kung talagang binigyan lang ng tamang panahon ng Kongreso at pagkakataon na idebate sana ang panukala na to, baka makarinig sila mga tamang recommendation. Pangalawa ho, ang sinasabi ng mga ilang author, meron namang proteksyon. Pero simple lang ang tanong ko, ang pinakamabisang proteksyon sana dyan sa panukalang batas na yan, hindi na sana natin tinanggal ang Section 50 na pagpe-penalize kung magkaroon ng pag-aresto ng mali ang ating mga law enforcer. Ngayon, bakit po natin tinanggal to kung sigurado naman tayong mga terorista ang hinuhuli natin? Pero ang totoo niyan, umamin din ang mga author na ito yung naging deterrent. So ibig sabihin niyan, hindi ho tayo sigurado sa ating mga inaaresto. Sen Kiko, ikaw na.
Yes, thank you. Sa akin, yung tanong kasi is ano yung ilang mga provisions, anong pwedeng ayusin pa dito. Ang pwede na lang ayusin dito sa ngayon, kung hindi natin, dahil hindi naman option nga ngayon ng i-amenda yung batas, medyo ano yun, suntok sa buwan, yun na nga, dalhin sa Korte Suprema. Pero sa Korte Suprema, dito natin ngayon ka-questionin yung ilang mga provision. Sa bawat batas, merong tinatawag na separability clause. Ibig sabihin, pag kinwestiyon natin yung definition, yung warrantless arrest, pag kinwestiyon natin yung ATC na may kapangyarihan nga na mag-prescribe at mag-designate ng mga terrorist organization, pag sinabi ng Korte Suprema, hindi pwede ang kapangyarihan yan, the separability clause will operate. Other provisions of the law that are not considered unconstitutional will still be upheld and will still be valid. Yun lang mga pinuntiryang hindi consistent with the Constitution. Yun yung masa-strike down. So yan yung isang, kaya nga legal remedy yan. And that's why pinag-aaralan na natin. Nga pala, si Namujib, as former governor ng ARM, sila rin, nag-uusap kami tungkol sa paghain ng petisyon. I believe meron ding hinahanda ang grupo ni Namujib. So, sabi nga nila, biro lang, pero sabi nila, the more the merrier. Mas maraming petisyon, mas mararamdaman ng Korte Suprema na hindi ito biro at seryoso ang ating mga kababayan sa kanilang pagtutol dito. So yun ang sinasabi natin, anong dapat gawin at ano ang remedyo para dito sa mga offensive or controversial or provisions that are inconsistent with the Constitution. Let's strike them down as being unconstitutional and bring it precisely by bringing it to the Supreme Court. Let's ask for it to be stricken, to be declared unconstitutional, these controversial provisions.
Speaking of that mga boss, may mainit pong tanong na nagbuburo sa ating Q&A po. Parang ang linya po ng tanong, are the Drilon amendments enough as a safety measure? Siguro rin para rin maunawaan po ng iba na paano po bumoto yung mga kasamahan po natin sa Kongreso at sa Senado. Siguro kasama rin po yun ng tanong po na yun, sir.
Well, Senator Drilon and I obviously saw things differently. In fairness to Senator Drilon, siya ang pinakamahabang interpellation, siya ang pinakamaraming proposed amendments. Ibig sabihin talagang he worked very hard to put in place, diba, the necessary safeguards. Dangan nga lang, there were two particular provisions that I felt, or three actually, na needed more refinement, and that's why we voted against it. So, and I guess he felt after putting all these proposed amendments na ang kanyang pakiramdam ay sufficient na yun. No? So, in that regard, we disagree. But part of precisely my own disagreement is kasi nga pwedeng abusuhin pa rin. No? Halimbawa, ito nangyari ito, totoong nangyari ito. Ilang mga lower ranking mga opisyal ng administrasyon noong 2019 ba o 2018, hindi ko na maalala, sa dami nung beses tayong sedition charges against VP, hindi ba? Against yung 8 Diretso, nag-file sila. Tapos naalala ko, yung Oplan Red October. Pinakalat ng ilang mga nasa gobyerno at sabi ang LP daw kasama ang kaliwa, kasama ang mga progressive groups, pagdating daw nung 2019 October o 2018 October ay i-oust si President Duterte. Diba? Yun, sinabi yun. Oplan Red October. Kasama daw ang LP. Nung budget hearing ng Armed Forces tsaka ng DND, nandun ako, tinanong ko sila kasi that was mga 1 week after, tinanong ko sila, meron ba kayong ebidensya na ang LP ay involved dito sa tinatawag na Oust Duterte Red Plan October? And they denied it. Di ba? So, itong anti-terrorism bill, anong pwedeng, di ba, safeguard na biglang isang opisyal ng pamahalaan sasabihin yung LP na yan, may plano yung i-oust si Duterte at pabagsakin ng gobyerno kasama ang NPA, kasama ang Abu Sayyaf, nagkasani puwersa na silang lahat. Kaya mga terorista yan. Kaya si Senator Kiko, ayan, pwede nang ikulong. Pwede nang i-detain ng 14 days. Dagdagan pa ng 10. Pwede nang i-wiretap yung kanyang mga phone conversations. Di ba? I-petition na natin yan. Di ba? I-freeze na ang accounts niyan, tapos pakinggan yung lahat ng kanyang mga, ano. Yan ang, and mind you, mula nang nakaupo itong gobyernong ito, pag merong palpak, naalala nyo, merong, yung iba, hindi lahat, pero yung iba sinisisi yung LP. Nung pinatay nila si Kian, kitang-kita doon sa CCTV, may mga information lumalabas. Ang nagpapatay daw dyan para magalit ang tao ay ang LP. Oh. Di ba? Ang dali-dali sabihin, therefore, lahat. Sabi ko nga, kawawa naman kami. Lahat ng mga palpak, kami ang may kasalanan. Ang LP ang may kasalanan. So what is to stop them from doing that pagdating nitong anti-terror law? Gumagawa na. Sabi, si Presidente na rin mismo nagsabi, 5 na sinasabi niya, yung 3, hindi totoo eh. Di ba? Siya na nagsabi no. Diyan tayo magkakaroon ng problema. The impunity is there. Kaya, di ba, hindi biro ang ganitong klaseng sitwasyon.
Thank you, sir. Actually, our event is only scheduled until 6, pero mukhang marami pong magandang tanong. Okay lang po ba if we extend maybe 10 more minutes to answer 1 or 2 more questions? Okay lang po ba? Parang sayang naman po yung pagkakataon na magkakasama po tayo, sir.
Basta si Mujib, kararating lang.
Oo nga po eh. Kailangan po ng screen time ni Kong Mujib.
Kailangan niyang bumawi.
Sa sunod, marami nang mainit eh.
Ito pong question po na ito para po sa lahat. Even our reactors, I think maganda pong marinig yung opinions po nila sa tanong po na ito. Ano ba mas magandang sabihin dun sa mga taong dinedefend ang anti-terror bill na isa batas? They say you have to read the whole yung batas bago magsalita at against doon where in fact kitang-kita naman talaga anong gusto ipahayag ng bill, which is to go against the freedom of speech.
Well, in fairness naman, lalo na sa ilang mga sektor na pagod na sa gera, halimbawa sa Mindanao, pagod na sa instability, pagod na sa armed conflict, hindi ko sila masisisi na ang pakiramdam nila o ang nakikita nilang solusyon, ubusin na lahat yung mga yan. All out war, di ba? Pero nakita na natin, sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa, anong napala ng all-out war? Hanggat hindi mo tinutugunan yung mas malalim na dahilan ng extremism, which is poverty, which is discrimination and prejudice, kahit na anong gerahin mo dyan, hindi mareresolba yan. Sabi nga nila, ang isang revolusyonaryo ay pinapakanak minuminuto habang hindi tinutugunan ang kahirapan at kagutuman. Lalo na ngayon, matindi ang gutom at kahirapan dahil nga sa COVID. So yun ang point ko, na hindi solusyon ang strong arm tactics at strong arm rule. Kung yun lang ang magiging tugon, dahil frustrated tayo, dahil galit tayo, palagay ko mauuwi ito sa problema. So how do you answer that? Yun. Well, I tried to explain it in the beginning, di ba? Di ba yung draconian measure? Ano nangyari sa drug war? Di ba yung COVID, pinasara ABS, pinakamahabang lockdown, puro draconian eh, di ba? Yung Marawi, binomba, inubos, di ba? 2.5 years ang martial law. Oh, ano na ang Marawi ngayon? So hindi solusyon itong draconian measures. Itong strong arm measures, hindi siya solusyon. In fact, bakit nila tinutulak? Dahil sa aking paniwala, iba kasi ang kanilang agenda. Hindi para ma-resolve yung problema, kung hindi, takutin ng tao at manatiling makapangyarihan.
Thank you, sir. Baka po may gusto sabihin si Kong Muji po.
Pwede. Actually, tama ho si Sen Kiko eh. Ako, ibase ko na lang ang sagot ko. Kung ano yung aming karanasan. Inuulit ko nga, kung merong dapat galit na galit sa terorista, dapat kami yon. Ilang kasama, kaibigan, kapamilya ang napugutan. In fact, lumala yung kahirapan sa aming probinsya. Nasira yung kredibilidad, maraming nangamba, ayaw magnegosyo dito. Kahit yung edukasyon ng mga kabataan na apektuhan dahil sa terorismo. So kung merong unang tao na representante sa loob ng Kongreso na dapat pumapanig at magsasabi ng oo, kampanyahin sila kongkit para mag-yes sa panukalang ito, dapat ako yon. Pero ang tanong, bakit ako nagno? Dahil ayon sa aming karanasan, alam mo, even sa paggagawa ng policy, even halimbawa sa Kongreso, kaya nga meron kang research division sa loob ng Congress para mag-conduct ng isang research para maging science-based ang mga panukala. Hindi yung out of imagination dahil sinasabi nga ni Kong Kiko, parang draconian type, ito ang paraan, ito ang karanasan. Halimbawa, ano ba ang, alam mo, merong 263 no, mula 2016 or late nung 2015 hanggang 2016 hanggang 2019 na mga nasumuko nagbalik loob na mga dating terorista. Nung ako'y regional governor noon, nagbuo kami ng isang programa na diretso sa aking opisina. At ang programa na to, tinatawag naming PAVE or Program Against Violent Extremism. Kino-coordinate namin sa mga local commanders ng AFP, ng PNP Local Government Unit, pati yung mga relihiyoso, para pag-aralan. Alam mo, out of 263, 215 dyan, sinubject namin sa psychosocial at in-interview namin. Out of 215, 7% lang ang nagsasabi, sumama kami sa Abu Sayyaf dahil sa aming paniniwala, pagmamatay kami dyan o dahil sa ideolohiya, pagmamatay kami dyan sa langit kaming diretso. Ang 93% niyan, alam mo anong sagot? Dahil sa injustices, insecurity, rido, kahirapan, kawalan ng trabaho, walang pinag-aralan. So kung 7% lang ang nagsasabi niyan, 7% lang ang nagsasabi niyan, 93%, alin ang piliin mo? Yung mayorya or yung minorya? Ngayon ang tanong ko, itong policy ba natin ngayon ng anti-terror, sasagot doon sa 93%? Or gusto mong sagutin lang ang 7%? O baka pag sinagot mo ang 7% at nagkamali ka pa ng execution mo dyan, baka lalo pang dumami. Inulit ko nga, noong 201, time ni GMA, nag-declare sila ng state of lawlessness. Hinuli lahat, napuno ang bikutan, nakulungan. Pero sa totoo lang, hindi sila humina, lumakas. Pero nung nagbuo tayo ng programa, humina sila at lumakas ang influensya natin. So bakit hindi tayo bubuo ng isang polisiya na hindi lang isa, kung hindi dapat nakabase sa science, nakabase sa pag-aaral para magiging responsive doon sa programa at plataforma or problema na hinaharap natin dito sa ating bansa. Inuulit ko, kung merong gustong matuldukan ang terorismo, ako yon. Dahil naghihirap, 62% ng aming probinsya ay mahihirap dahil sa terorismo. Pero I'm sure din na hindi sigurado ako, itong panukala na to, baka lalong maglilikha ng maraming bagong terorista, lalong-lalo na kung mali ang pagpapatupad nito base sa aming mga karanasan.
Salamat po, sir.
Solid na yun. Nice na yun.
Other words, Kongkit.
Ayos na, ayos na.
So po yung sabihin.
Practical experience si Mudji. Ayos na, ayos yan.
Very telling po yung statistics.
Mujib, Kong, may binanggit ka nung isang forum, yung de-radicalization program ng...
Yeah, alam mo, Senkid, kaya ko sinasabi, alam mo, laging hinahantulad nila tayo sa Australia, sa Malaysia. Alimbawa, doon sa pagkulong, tayo na lang daw ang pinakamababa na 24 days lang, 14 days, extendable hanggang 10 days. Alam nyo, napuntahan ko both ang Australia at Malaysia. Sila, pag hinuli nila dyan, meron silang deradicalization program even sa loob ng kulungan. Even sa Australia, totoo, very strong yung enforcement policy nila. Pero on the other hand, malakas din yung deradicalization program nila. Pero sa atin, hinuhuli lang natin, hinayaan natin sa loob ng kulungan. Minsan, even yung bantay natin, nare-recruit nila, naging terorista ang mga pag-iisip. Halimbawa, bigyan ko kayo. Di ba meron tayong policewoman na nahuli nung inatake ang Bohol na inattempt na kidnapin. Yung mismo sa loob ng kulungan ang nakarecruit sa kanila at hindi na-deradicalize yung nakulong, yung police ang na-radicalize dahil naging boyfriend niya, yung radical sa loob ng kulungan. Kasi nga, wala tayong malinaw na programa. So kahit meron kang enforcement, kung wala ka namang goal, ano ba ang objective? Sinasabi nila sa panukalang batas, ang pinaka-goal ng batas na to para matuldukan ang terorismo. Yun ang panukala natin. Pero ang paghuhuli na wala namang klarong programa, hindi naman natin matatapos ang terorista doon at matatapos ang terorismo. Dapat komprehensibo ang ating pulisiya sa pagsagot dito sa problema na to. Inuulit ko, hindi sa ayaw namin sa anti-terror law, pero dapat magkaroon tayo ng isang comprehensive na anti-terror law para lubusan ng matapos yung terorismo sa ating bansa.
May dadagdag lang ako ng konti. Tinignan ko yung anti-terror law sa Australia. Malinaw na malinaw doon. Tama nga naman, may 14 days. Ang difference ng Australia at sa Pilipinas, common law sila. Una, common law sila. So walang konstitusyon na nagsasabi sa Article 3 sa section yung section sa Constitution na 3 days lang ang detention. Walang ganun sa Australia. Number 2, very specific yung law sa Australia. Pag nandun na yung Terrorist Act, yung mangyayari na yung Terrorist Act, may probability na mangyayari na yung Terrorist Act or nangyari na yung Terrorist Act. Tsaka lang mag-a-apply yung 14 days detention. Otherwise, yung regular law nila that applies, 48 hours lang ang detention. So may distinction, may clear distinction. Nangyari na at saka specific mangyayari o nangyari na, and ang laki ng kuha na alam na nilang mangyayari. And nagpre-preserve lang sila ng evidence. Yung dito sa akin, walang ganong safeguards. Wala. Basta nasabi kang designated ka, suspect ka, proscribed ka, pwede na mag-apply sa'yo yung 14 days plus 10, 24. O, nakita niyo yung difference? Nakikita niyo yung difference? Hindi na sinasabi nila yung ibang jurisdictions, mas mahigpit. Hindi totoo yun. May restrictions mismo sa mga batas nila. And kung trinabaho natin, more time, trinabaho natin itong batas na to, nagawa siguro itong batas na to, na malinaw yung safeguards. Yung constitution ng safeguards na panatili natin. Yun.
Meron lang akong pwedeng i-comment lang kasi nabasa ko dito, Elroy. Just very
Sige,
quick.
sir. Opo, sir.
Meron kasi
Sir.
mga nag-comment dun sa aking statement na panalo yung 8 diretso sa mga schools. Pero ang sabi nila, sorry because many young people are in the big cities attending university. As meron din nagsabi, many youth are far from their hometowns during election. Perhaps that's why their youth turnout is low. I can understand. Pero alam nyo, ang estudyante sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, yan ang nangunguna sa pagbabago. Yan ang nangunguna. So, pinakasulong yan. Ang mga estudyante nung panahon ng revolusyon, ng himagsikan ng 1896 hanggang ating independence ng 1898, ang nanguna dyan yung mga estudyante. Diba? Si Jose Rizal, si Antonio Luna, si Juan Luna, Graciano Lopez Haina. Lahat ng mga estudyante nag-aaral sa Europa. Doon nila nakita ang injustice, ang hindi tama, at kaya pinaglaban nila. In other words, it is the harbinger. Young people are the harbinger of change. Kaya kahit, and mind you, sabi, they didn't vote, tama. Alam mo, kahit na 10% lang nung mga hindi rehistrado ay nagrehistrado eh. Alam nyo ba na kung 10 million ang hindi nagrehistro, kahit na 1 million lang nung mga 18 to 24 ang nagrehistro at bumoto, mag-iiba ang resulta ng halalan eh. Kahit na mga 1.5 million, lalo ng eleksyon sa dito, sa Senado. Sa Senado, 1 million votes will make the difference between whether you're in the top 12 or you're in the 12 to 24. 1 million votes. So, wag nating isipin na dahil nasa university, dahil sa... I can understand. Pero these are 2 points. It's the young people, the students. Yan ang pinakasulong. Yan ang nangunguna nung kasasakay-saysayan ng ating bansa. At ngayon, mas lalo pang nangunguna. Kaya nga, that is positive for us who want change to happen. Students are change agents. And sumusunod na lang. The rest, sabi nga nila, mas marami ang sumusunod matapos kumilos ang mga kabataan at estudyante. Diba, no, Kit? Panahon pa tayo nung diktadura, nakikibakan na eh. Okay, that's it. That's my point lang. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you sa ating mga boss, Kong Kit, Senator Kiko, Kong Mujib, and to our reactors for today. No? Speaking of moving forward, change, the silver lining, no? Even if we foresee this getting signed in the future, definitely there is a long road ahead of us. No? This discussion that we had this afternoon presented to us different opportunities to move forward. No? Challenging this sa Supreme Court is one, but it's not the only thing we can do based on our discussions today. So, napag-usapan natin yung how students, but also artists and everybody else can be harbingers of change through means, no? Through other means outside our own circle. So, ang hamon sa atin siguro, no? Paano natin ipagpapatuloy ang usapan sa labas ng ating mga bubble o circle, ano? So, yun yung hamon sa atin batay sa mga napag-usapan natin. But also in the longer term, banggit nga ni Kong Mujib, no? How should we address the root of the problem why people resort to terrorism? No? Kung batay sa statistics lang and if we make policies based on data, malinaw kung saan tayo dapat nakatuon. So this is definitely not the last time that we will be discussing this. This is just the first of this discussion. We definitely just want to sort of create this avenue to spark this discussion. Hopefully you continue this in your own circles moving forward. Thank you very much to our presenters and to our reactors